Mike the Tube Jackson, back in Houston, Texas. I had a little vacation in Vegas not too long ago. But I'm here today at Metro Fight Club, and then I'm joined by my man, Adrian Yanez. And you got a big fight coming up this week, Bellator 149.
Man, I'm really looking forward to this fight, man. It's a really good fight, man. I got a really tough opponent, and it's one that I'm looking forward to because I know he's not afraid to scrap. And if anybody knows me, back in my amateur days, I was a scrapper. I didn't care. So, right now I'm not in the caring mood, so I'm looking for a scrap.
Now, originally you were set to take on Daniel Santos. He had some visa issues, so they replaced him with Ryan Hollis, who has a name. I like to call him the Banana Man. He's known for that when he fought. I want to say that was a Cejudo fight.
Was it?
It was one of those Access TV fights. But now you're taking on Ryan Hollis. He's you don't find many 20. What was this fight? 25 or 35?
25, 35. He goes up and down.
Well, this particular fight.
This is 35.
So you don't find many 135ers of his size. He's very long and rangy, and he possesses dangers both on the feet and on the ground. What type of dangers do you feel will give you the most trouble in this fight and you have to overcome?
Honestly, it would probably be his versatility. He's very versatile, but I don't see it as a dangerous. He's very dangerous in all aspects, but I feel like I can handle it. I don't feel out of place with anything, Like there's only a couple fights where I felt like I was out of place in a couple, and that was obviously the Levi Moles fight, but because he was a really good jiu-jitsu guy, he's always going to the tournaments and he's always submitting everybody, but it gave me a sense of confidence, even though it was a loss, that he couldn't submit me, a top level brown belt at that, so I look at Ryan Hollis, he's really good, he's really versatile, but I just don't feel like I'm in danger. I don't fear it. That's the biggest thing.
Now, in the Levi Moles fight, he obviously, his game plan is to go out and get the submission. He's a high-level brown belt. What did you take from that loss?
I just, from that fight in particular, I felt that I had more heart than mostly everybody, I think, in the world, because, I see people in the UFC, they break their jaw, they quit. I broke my jaw in that first round, and I kept going. I kept pushing through it, it was excruciating pain, but I kept pushing through it, and that's one of the biggest things that I feel like I have over everybody in Houston is the heart to keep going, and the will. Everybody has the lack of. They get hurt, they want to stop. I have will to keep on fighting. I got that a lot from my father, so I'm ready. I'm not scared. I don't fear anything.
Now, you mentioned the heart, and sometimes you see it in fighters, sometimes you don't. How big of an intangible is that? Because it's not necessarily a skill that a fighter possesses. It's something that a lot of people are born with, and they have to develop it, so to speak. How big of a variable is that in the fight game?
To me, it's a big thing, because once you hit those tough positions, you're down 2 rounds, and you need to come back. Most people will shut off after 2 rounds, or just after the first 2 minutes. A lot of people will shut themselves out. If they're not winning, they don't land a jab. They're like, okay, I didn't land. This is not going to work for me. Everybody likes to throw their plans or their way of fighting out because they don't have the heart to do it. To me, it's a big part of aspect, and that's what makes champions. You got to have the skill, the heart, and the will to do it. So I think that's one of the biggest things to me. I have a big heart. I want to keep pushing even if I'm hurt. That's one of the biggest things for me. It's the heart, the will, and the skill to keep going.
You mentioned champions here at Metro Fight Club, and this beautiful wall. If y'all don't know, Saul Solis, head trainer here, we have this beautiful wall of pictures of former champions, current champions, things like that. For you training under Saul, what type of motivation is that, knowing that he's been behind some great fighters?
Man, it wasn't even the fact that he had the champions. I came in my very first day with my dad and my brother, and it was just the fact that my dad came up here and he pointed out everything about Saul. Saul let us watch his class and watch him work, because I wanted to be a fighter, and he wanted to see if this would be compatible. And you know what? He came in, my dad pinpointed these couple things that Coach Saul does very well, and from that day on, it just kind of stuck together, and we just came together like a puzzle piece. And I'm not going anywhere else, because my dad told me that this this man will take me places, and he'll make me a world champion. And I believe that to the utmost belief. You know, my father told me that, and Coach Saul, you know, when we've been working together, as it shows, you know, we're undefeated. You know, and the one fight I didn't have in my corner, I lost. So I'm a big believer in Coach and Coach Saul. So that's my biggest thing. It's the belief in Coach Saul. You can have any trainer in the world, you know, but you got to have the utmost belief in him that he'll take you there. You know, you can have the best coach in the world and just not have the belief in him, and you won't be anything. But if you have the best trainer in the world and you have the utmost belief in him, you'll be somebody. You'll be a champion.
Man, speaking of your dad, you know, we heard the news not too long ago. You know, man, it's hard, you know, to kind of take that in. I know him personally. I would see him at fights and things like that. But for you, being that he was so involved in your fighting, in everything, you know, involved in his game, how hard is it for you to continue this fight? You know, not many people can say that, you know, they've lost their father and someone who was so important in their life, especially in the fight game, and continue to fight. You know, what is it that's motivating you to continue?
One of my biggest things is that I told my father by the end of 2016, I'm going to be a champion. I'm going to hold a belt in whatever organization I'm in. Whatever organization I'm in, I'm going to hold the belt by the end of 2016. And I kept that promise to my dad, and I told him, I was like, I want to be a champion. I want to give that belt to you. But now my goal has changed a little bit. I'm not going to give it to my father. I'm going to give it to my mother, you know, his other half. And, you know, losing my dad, you know, it took a big chunk out of me, you know, because my father was a big push and what I wanted to do and why I wanted to do it, you know. But my father told me on his deathbed, you know, that he doesn't want me to quit. He wouldn't want me to quit because this is a dream of mine. You know, he told me the Toyota Center, that was one place that I wanted to fight since I first started fighting back in 2012 when I first had my first fight. And I told him one day I'm going to fight in the Toyota Center. And he said, that's one place I really want to fight. And he told me, never give up on your dreams, you know. And then, you know, just this happened a couple weeks ago. You know, my father looked at me and says, whatever happens, I don't want you to pull out this fight. I want you to go out there and win. You know, he told me, whatever happens, go out there. You know, you got to go live your dream because I might not be here, but life will go on. You know, so it's one of those things that you know, it hurts that he's not here, but I got to still push, you know, in my dad's honor and my dad's memory, you know, because he wanted me to be here, and this is what I'm going to do. You know, like I said, 2016, a belt will be coming my way, and I will hand it to my mother, and, you know, in respect for my father.
And your first step in 2016 is against Ryan Hollis at Bellator 149. Real quick before we finish up, you know, how big is it to go from, you know, you fought for Fury, you fought for Legacy, and now you're fighting for Bellator, and it could possibly be on Spike TV and things like that. You know, for you, this is possibly the biggest fight so far in your career. How does that make you feel?
Man, honestly, like I've already had the worst happen to me already. Like, it's, you know, a lot of people might say it's a little like unemotional, but you know, I've already went through something really traumatic and like really hard on me, you know, with my family, you know, with my father passing away. This fight is completely nothing to me. I do not fear it, you know, because I just know that there are much things greater that you can lose in life, you know. So it's one of those things that it doesn't bother me. Like I want to go out there and win and make this goal happen, but I know it's just a small piece of life. It's just a small little tad piece of life, and there's much more life to go on, you know, a lot more life to live, you know. So it doesn't scare me. It doesn't put any pressure on me. Like when it comes to this fight, I just don't care about the pressure. You know, I've had worse. I already went through life, you know. I broke my jaw not once but twice, you know. I fractured it, had to pull out a fight. Had a fight with Levi Moles. I fractured in the first round, still kept fighting. And then, you know, I broke my nose, you know, snapped like completely. Had to get surgery, refix my nose, and, you know, I'm still going. And then the worst of the worst happens, you know. I lose my father, who was a big, really big person in my fight career. You know, he was the Angel Garcia to my Danny Garcia, you know. Like, he's like putting that in boxing terms, you know. Like the Floyd Mayweather Sr. and Floyd Mayweather Jr. You know, it's just like it was that close. Like we spent hard nights in the gym, you know, and it was hard losing my father, you know. So like right now, I'd have no pressure, you know. I've already know what the worst can be. I do not fear what the worst can be. So to me, it's no pressure, you know. I see in there, you know, just me going in there and just going in the fight, you know. I have no care in the world.
There you go. Adrian Yanez, good luck this Friday.
Thank you.
Definitely be there.